Hello and welcome back. So hopefully you can hear me okay, just because we have to reboot everything in between, don't we? So if there's any problems, do let us know. Ian is back manning comments. So I'm going to go back over doing the love. Then I'm going to do a little bit on text on a path again, so that we can go back over that. And then I'm going to go and import a design too, so you can see how you can do that. So, can't see the toffee at the moment. Only 1 second.
Glasses open.
Everything looks foggy. And that's just my glasses. Okay. So I'm going to start off by doing the love again. So if we go to our text tool and we just click, go onto our map and click, and we can type our love. So, ooh. So I'm going to make it bigger so we can see easier what we're doing. One of the things I love about vectors is that you can scale them up and scale them down. You don't need to worry that you're losing quality as you're doing it. So if you want to work really, really big and then shrink it down a little, you can. Just bear in mind your fine points will become finer. Okay, so I'm going to choose a nice font. Should we go for something different this time, Ian?
Yeah.
Let's go for... I want something I can get to the nodes on. Go for something quite bold, with a little bit of shape to it. So there we go. Attic Antique.
What?
Attic Antique. Or should I go for something a bit more scripty than that?
Yeah, that's cool. That's got more to play with because you have to bridge your own. And...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, you see. There we go.
Go for that one.
Make a good stencil font, this one, because you've got those gaps missing, so it's going to hold the centre of your letters. So once you have a font that you're happy with, just let Ian know when he comes back. He's disappeared again on me. He's coming back. It's only a rumour he's gone.
Because that's where I'm stuck. My font didn't change.
Right, okay. If your font's not changing, make sure you have your little handles around your word. And then you should be able to go to your little drop down up here and then click on the font that you want to use. So if I change that one, for instance. And if it doesn't automatically preview, which you might not do in older versions, you can just click on it and then have a look, see whether you like that. That one's funky. Not a lot to do on it, but it's funky. Should we play with that one? I could think of a few cool ways of doing that.
Can you also do it over in the text box over on the far side?
Yep, you can do it in your Docker. Here's a strange name, that. So if we go to something else in here, we can scroll down. So I have a scroll wheel on my mouse, so I'm just using that to scroll down. If you have like a touch mouse, it might be that you're just sliding your finger up it. Don't like that one overly. Let's go for something different. You can also grab the hold of the little scroll bar at the side and begin going there. There we go. Nice strong font. So I tend to get my fonts from Font Bundles, Creative Fabrica.
Still no luck.
Okay. Do you want Ian to hop on quickly and just see if you can see what's going on? Because it should be changing. So it's probably just something in your preferences that might be messing you about. It's probably something really, really simple. Okay? So don't panic. Ian's coming to the rescue.
Just restarting TV because I closed it.
Okay. So bear with my big computer because it's a little bit on the poorly side, so it's a bit slow because it's working off a separate hard drive because the one that's in it doesn't work anymore. It broke.
And I'm using it as well, which really doesn't help. Let's have a look. Okay, text selected. It doesn't do the preview, but there's plenty of fonts there. What did you pick?
I've got one that's called Sign Painter. So it's quite a bold script font.
I'm scrolling down. VQRS. We don't have that one.
Just go for something similar.
Perhaps we have to highlight it on it. Just want to.
You still got the text tool selected rather than the arrow tool.
Yeah.
Well, that changed.
No,
Didn't it?
there we go. So for the PC version, you obviously just have to have it highlighted.
Whereas I've just got my arrow tool selected.
Yeah. So and then we can go through and find one that you like. Oh, that changed. Yeah, so it does change. It does do a live preview as well if you're patient with it.
It may just be a little bit slower, especially when Ian's doing TeamViewer, because obviously it's going across 2 lots of Wi-Fi and the internet.
Yeah, you also have to have it highlighted as well, which Nat didn't say obviously because Nat is doing it automatically.
Yeah, with the arrow tool
With
selected.
just the arrow tool.
So if I do it like that, then it's the same. So it's going to be.
So we can find something that's.
I might save that alphabet soup for another video, you know. Would kind of go with blog post that's going up tomorrow.
No, not Comic Sans. Avoid Comic Sans. Should download the font there and you know, at least we can using the same font.
Oh, we can do that.
Oh, that one will do. That's nice. I like that one.
Which one?
What we're using, Embassy BT.
Embassy. I'm not sure if I've got that one. But I can have a look. So E for Embassy. There you go.
There you go. We've got
We
the
can
same
use
font.
the same font.
There you go. Sorted. Right, there you go. So I'll
I've got it at point size of 226.951 if you want to put that.
342.55.
Okay, I'll go bigger.
342.553. The exact.
Go on, give me that again. 342.553.
553. Yeah.
There we go, so we're at the same size.
Yeah, there you go. Right, I'll leave you in peace.
Okay.
I'll leave that open in case you need me for anything else.
I am thinking that would look really nice with some nice little hearts added to it. So I'm going to go up to Object and Convert to Curves. So now we can see that suddenly we've got these little start and end points appearing in our word. So that's a really good visual clue that it is now a curve. Oh, one more, Natty. There we go. Two more. Okay. That's what I wanted. So there's our love. And we can also turn off these other bits around the side so we don't have to look at them anymore by using the little eye function in the layer. So you can see it's got a little cross through. And we can also lock layers too. So by locking them, it means that we can't edit them by accident. So with our love, first of all, I'm going to make sure that it's welded. So if we go to nodes and we can see that we've got little overlaps in our letters, and what that means is we first of all, before we do anything else, need to weld it all together. So if we go to shape, which is over on the right hand side, looks like two little squares overlap.
We have to get hers written out, so it might be, what might it be, transformation or something like that?
It's just called shape.
Just called shape, okay.
And then if you go to weld, because for some reason when mine's selected it doesn't show what I'm on, so I will each time try and remember to just click it so it's on weld. And we can go weld 2, and it's going to weld to itself. And if we look in here where we could really before see the end of that L, we can see that it's gone. So that means that everything is now flattened. And we can zoom in and you can see your nodes up close if we really want to. So now that we've converted it to curves, we can play with it a bit more. So let's go to smear. And I'm thinking it'd be really nice to have this L curve up with a little heart on the end. So, and like so. Let's go and take that little end there. And we can push so that it goes round to a little point. And if when you're doing this you're thinking that's getting a little fine, that's okay. At any point we can just change back to our nodes. So I'm going to tap H. That's going to give me my hand so I can move up and see things a bit easier. If I tap A, it's going to go to the node tool. And that's the same in most software. So once you get used to one set of shortcuts, they're pretty similar. The only real exception to that, I would say, is good old Inkscape. So I'm just going to make this end a little bit thicker so it's a bit easier for us to work with. So I'm just wiggling the handles on the node. So that we now have a little swoosh upwards. So let me know when you have a swoosh that you've pulled out a little bit. So that's done using the, come on, drop down for me, thank you. The smear tool to pull it out. And then the shape tool to just make sure that our line is nice and thick. If you want me to go back and show you anything again, I really don't mind.
Just ask.
Just ask. That's what we're here for. If all we do today is we just do the love, that is absolutely fine. Don't think you've got to rush ahead and try and move on to the next bit. So just take your time.
Okay, yeah, I think it's okay.
Okay. So now we're going to go to our shape tool, and I'm going to pick up my heart again. So on mine it's go to common shapes and then pick a heart. On yours it might be that you have a heart shape tool already.
I think it was basic shapes.
There you go. And I'm going to click and drag a little heart shape. And I'm going to pop in a colour fill for now so you can see it a bit easier.
Yep, got an okay.
So we have a little heart. You might want to make it a little bit bigger so it's a bit more obvious when we weld it what it is actually. So let's stretch that up there. Okay. Might also want to rotate it slightly. So if we click twice, we can see that we've got our rotation handles on each corner. So we can just drag one of those round and it's going to twist that shape around that centre point. Okay. We can also drag that point down to this bottom tip of the heart. And that means that when we rotate, it's going to rotate around that point. So this is really useful whenever you want to do a design that's going to fan out, so that you can have them all going from that bottom centre point and go around in like a semicircle. So all you do is just click and drag that centre point and down towards the bottom of the heart. I might just twist mine a little bit more so it mirrors that kind of angle in the L there. So it feels like it flows, which it does now. There we go.
Okay.
Okay. So we can repeat that same process at the other end. So again, we'll go to our smear tool, and if your brush is a little big like mine, we can take that down in size. So I'm just going to put it down to 0.5 and we can just pull out that shape. Make sure it's selected first, it always helps. Always helps that. Come on. And then we're going to pull. Okay. If there's anything you just want to tweak, we can just grab that bit and just pull it that way. going to grab the heart, press and hold Control, click and drag while still got Control pressed, and let go, and I have a copy of my heart. Now I'm just going to nudge with the keyboard, so your 4 arrow keys, and you can nudge them back so that it's going to line that tip up roughly with the centre of that E line just down there. How are we doing?
I've lost my nodes now. Just press A to get your nodes.
Yeah. So it's really quick way of getting back to your notes if you just hit that A on your keyboard. So the plan is that we are going to do posters for all of the courses that we've done this month, so that they can all match the canvas and the scan and cut ones that we've already done. May do digital copies as well, mightn't we, for those that are international. So he's worrying about the postage until everything sorts itself out.
Yeah. I'm getting a swell when I press A.
Okay.
Is that because the top one's swell?
Could very well be. So, let's see. Which key press is it? It's not going to be that one. It's not going to let me cycle through them on here. So if you just press and hold, you're looking for the one that says shape. And it may be that it's, to get to the nodes, you need shape. And then you'll see all your little dots come up.
Looks like it's the spiral. That's the twirl one, isn't it?
Yeah.
So just go back to your node, select at the side, so at the top.
So I think what you've got selected at the moment is that one. And you just need to change to the little path with a little arrow and a node.
F10 apparently.
F10. Now that just mutes my computer.
That's the function, if you use it as function F10 rather than...
Yeah, where's my function key gone there? You can tell how often I do it. Nope, those don't work for me. But there you go. What I might do then, Claire, is get some input from you on in terms of the PC shortcuts, because obviously they're going to be quite different on yours to on mine, and we'll go from there.
I wonder if, because obviously I have F keys on mine.
Yeah, try if you tried it on yours, whether it. But you don't have Corel Draw set up on yours, do you?
I thought I did.
No, because I thought it was a one computer only license. Okay. So as long as you've got your shape tool selected and you can see your nodes, then we can do a little bit of tweaking. So I'm just going to move this one here, just because it looks a bit of a funny shape. So I'm just going to tweak that in there just a little bit. Better. When you start editing nodes at this sort of zoomed level, that you have to bear in mind that what you're actually changing is like little fractions of an amount of sliver. But sometimes those slivers can make all the difference. Okay. So when you're happy with your nodes, you can just control and drag over a duplicate of the heart so that you.
So I'm at the point I've duplicated the heart.
There we go. So you've got 2 hearts you love, and now we're gonna weld them all together.
I need to move it.
Oh, need to move the heart. So okay, so you can just nudge it with your keyboard. And it's going to nudge it in little tiny fractions. I think we've twisted Ian's arm to have a play. It's only taken a year. Okay, so when you've got your heart where you want it to be, we're going to select that entire piece. So I have both hearts selected and the text. And then we can just weld it into one piece.
It's stuck on top of the other one.
Okay. When you say it's stuck on top, what are you seeing in your layers palette? I'm just going to take these and group them just so I can hide them out of the way for a minute. So you should just be able to see these first 3 items on your map. And if you click on one of your hearts, if they're stuck on top of each other, then you should just be able to get so that you've got your handles, and then you can always drag it once you've got.
I've not even got that bar.
Okay, so this is the object docker. Sometimes known as the layers. you want to just have a quick look, see, Ian?
Yeah. I'll come back to that. But yeah, it's 2 licenses, so we can still get that.
Cool.
That's what I want. So I think. Okay. That's your layers. Yeah, you've got your object mode yet. Oh, that's one's just turned off. Yeah. Okay, let's get that back. Hang on a minute. Let me have a look. Why is it not picking up that one? I can see why. Wrong tool selected. Need to change to that one so you can pick it up then. So you just need to change to your selection tool. That's the difference.
There you go.
So go to that and then we can just nudge it.
I wonder if there's a way I could make my tools a bit bigger. They look a bit small.
Yeah. There you go, that was all it was. Just needed the selection tool to be able to pick it up. But you've got your object properties here at the side as well, I think. And then that's the object itself. If I go back up to there you go, that's your guides and your layers.
I was just trying to see if I can make my toolbar any bigger, but I don't think it's going to let me.
Yeah.
View. Customize toolbar. Let's just see.
Does it give you an option of sizing it, does it?
No. No, it doesn't give me an option of natty short-sighted and okay, so once you have your 2 hearts, we're going to select all of it and we're going to go to our shape menu, Docker. We're going to go to Weld 2 and we're going to weld it to that love. Okay. So now I'm going to go to my 3-point curve. I'm going to click sort of over the centre of my one heart and drag it over towards the centre of the other heart. And let go. So at this point our path becomes a big rubber band. Okay, we're then going to lift it up so we get a nice arch. So let me know if you need me to show you that curve again. And I'll wait for you to have your curve ready. Okay. So if you just want to give me a thumbs up, Claire, so that I know that you've done the curve.
Okay.
Cool. Okay. So now we're going to go to our text tool. So that's the one that looks like an A. And we're just going to hover over that path. So you notice my little cursor is turned to a cursor with a wiggly line underneath it. And it's got edge in blue. And what that means is it's recognised that it's sitting on top of a path. And it's going to put the text on that path. So then we're going to click on there. So when you've got that wiggly line, just click and you're going to have a cursor appear. Now at this point it's no different to if you were going to type that text on a straight line. Okay. And we can put, please be my Valentine. And we can click and drag over the top so that it turns blue, so we can change font.
Got a thumbs up.
So let's go. Now if we were to go for our embassy at this point, it's quite small. So we could do with something a little bit stronger. So you could go for, not necessarily something that is condensed, something a bit wider would be nice. And I will try and pick one that you may have. So let's go for Atlanta. And it's a semi-bold, so you can see that the bold is highlighted. And we can make it a bit bigger so it's going to fill that path. So, a bit more, yeah. 48 will do. Make a nice HTV t-shirt, this would.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't it? Okay, so at the moment we can see that where we clicked is where we've got this figure from. So we can use our little up and down arrows to push it along, so that it's roughly in the middle of the path. Okay, so now we can just click back on our arrow And we have our text on the path. Now, so long as our spelling is all correct, always a good idea to check before we go to this next part, we can go to Object and Convert to Curves. And just so I make sure I get the right one. So the one underneath is going to be our path. So we can hide it if we want to, or we can delete it. The choice is yours. I'm just going to hide it away. Okay, so I was thinking it might be nice if it says something like, "Please be my Valentine, my love," which means that we need to put that "my" in. And I thought it might be nice to put the "my" in a heart shape. So I'm just going to draw out a heart. And I'll pop a colour in it for now. And I'm going to check that it's going to fit, but I'm just going to keep it down here for now. So let me know when you've got your third heart on your mat. Then we're going to go to the text tool, and I'm just going to click somewhere on my mat and tap "my" into my keyboard. Now what I would say at this point is use either Atlanta or Embassy. I'm going to go for Atlanta just because it's nice and bold, and I'm also going to make it bigger. Let's say 48. So let me know when you have both of those elements on your mat.
We've lost a basic shape.
Okay, so that was just under your shape tool. And then it's common shapes on mine, but it's basic shapes on yours. And then up the top, you can choose which basic shape. Okay, then you're going to use your text tool to just type "my." So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. I just set it to Atlanta at 48 point for now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Now this might be an Ian just darling for a second, but you should have a docker that is called something like envelope or warp, something like that. And I can see there's a heart in there already. So actually I can just use the one that's in there. but you can use a shape that you've already created on your mat too. So make sure you've got your handles around your my using your move tool. And yeah.
Looks like I can still see down here in the comments.
Yeah, so she's found the inspector okay. Cool. And down the bottom we have a little option that is create an envelope that is based on the shape of another object. So it's the middle one at the bottom, presuming it's in the same place. Okay, and it's going to go to a little curvy arrow. So I've moved my mouse so it's over the top of my heart. And I'm going to click. Oh, come on, be nice for me. See, look, even the pros have their days where it just doesn't want to.
What's it trying to do?
I think because I need to convert it to curves first because it's still treating it like a shape. Let me just test that theory.
She doesn't have that.
Oh, right, okay. In which case then, if you haven't got it, I'm just going to use the heart that's in there. So you can just use the preset one. And you can see it's going to apply a heart shape around the outside.
Doesn't have the envelope or warp.
Okay, can you just start in for me so I can see?
Okay,
So Dockers.
Yeah, that's over.
Okay, not shaping because that's doing your calculations.
Actually, there's envelope.
There, that's the one. Try that one. Ooh, that's mean.
It's because you've got the...
No presets.
Yeah, but you've got the thing, haven't you? That's fine. Because you've got the subscription.
Okay. Just out of interest, if you click on the heart, so go to you, and then add new and see if you can pop it in there. Try going to object and convert to curves, that's what I had to do on mine. That's it, convert to curves. And it's because you've got the
No, doesn't want to play.
doesn't want to play ball. Okay. In which case then, heart's going to be a really mean one to try and teach you as a beginner to draw from scratch, so it's not fair of me. So I will just do a calculation instead and see if there's a way I can send a preset, which would be cool.
Okay. I think the reason you could was
Okay. So I'll undo it on my. Oh. There we go. So rather than do it like that way, we'll do it this way. So before you come out there, Ian, can you just show converting the text to curves for that top curve?
for the top bit.
Yeah.
So up there.
So in mine it's object convert to curves. Up at the top.
Yeah, we've got that one as well. Yeah.
And then hiding that path that's underneath it.
Hide it or delete it?
I can delete it if you want. And I'll delete it out on mine. Okay. Then this bit here in, yeah, so
Love, yeah.
the love just needs welding together with those two hearts.
Oh, we've got it on. Okay, see? There it goes. Like that, look. Where's my object manager? You did not click an object, do you wish to try again?
Yeah. So click on a heart. Nice big area to. Okay, what's wrong? What's going on with the text? It's obviously just having a bad 5 minutes. Let's have a look.
Underneath the object managers there.
And let's have a look at this text first.
Is it because it's still text?
There we go. So you can just sort these handles out. So there you go. That way into that heart, there's the idea. Okay.
Shift play.
And shift, and shift. Shaping and weld. There we go. So it's just making sure that you do that little convert to curves in your version. Obviously mine seems to skip that step for whatever reason. So with your text, just make sure you convert to curves and then do your weld.
Okay.
Obviously doesn't like it otherwise.
I've come out now, so.
Okay, so with my because the warping won't work, I'm going to make that a bit bigger so that it's going to fill that space nicely. Now with a word like my, where you've got that Y, you you're actually going to have to force it off centre to make it look centred, which is really weird, but and I might even just twist it slightly, and it's just going to look that little bit better. So as we said before, with your text, you're going to go to Object and Convert to Curves. Then Shift and click so that you select the text and the heart. We're going to go to Shaping, and this time instead of weld we're going to go to back minus front. So that's going to take that my that's in front and punch it through that heart so it becomes a hole. And if it's misbehaved, we can always chuck it out the window because it's going to be naughty. So, should you ever get something that misbehaves, if you go into Object and Break Curve Apart, and then try again in case. It's just one of those things. So we can see we've got the my that is now at the back, so we want to bring that to the front and try again. So shaping, back minus the front. It's not liking this one, is it? So, in which case, remember how I was saying about the lovely reverse the path. So I'm going to click and I'm going to reverse it. And I'm going to do the same with my M. It may not look like it does very much, but sometimes it's enough to sort it out. So I'm going to do it one letter at a time. See, look, and then it behaves. And there's nothing wrong with doing it one letter at a time if it makes it behave. So hopefully you have something that looks like a heart with our letters in. So then as we move it over objects, you can see that that hole goes all the way through. And we can pop that in there. Let's give it a colour of red, shall we? At least make it look like it's romantic. I'm also going to just give it a little bit of a twist. So how are you doing? Hopefully you've now got Please Be My Valentine, My Love. Just give it a thumbs up when you, yeah. Okay. So I might put another couple of red hearts in just to finish off that design. And then we could always send that to canvas, flip it and cut it out of some HTV so that you can put it onto a t-shirt.
Yeah, we should just carry on. It's not playing for us, so we carry on and
Okay.
just happy for you to carry on.
Okay, that's fine. What I will do is I'll very quickly at the end we can dial back in and I can just show you that bit where it's misbehaving and how to sort it out.
He says she wants her thumbs down. Doesn't offer that one.
Oh, it's probably something really silly, like it just doesn't want to do both at once. So like when I did the M and the Y separate.
This is for the one-to-one session. And she thinks it's a plain up.
Yeah.
But carry on, Susie.
So let's add some little hearts to it, and you can save it, and we can always just do the little bits that haven't quite worked out.
I'm not banning you from courses at all.
No, we only have one person that we've blacklisted, don't we? So I'm just going to pop in. See, I'm trying to use the wrong key presses. It's never good. So Control or Command.
Control on a PC.
Yeah, Control on a PC, Command on a Mac. And I'm going to just pop another one of these in here. I do like just being able to drag out a copy rather than having to go and click duplicate and it putting it wherever it wants to. So we can populate the design with little hearts. And what I would say is just pop another one just down here so it makes that design feel like it's all one design. It's amazing the difference that one little red heart can make, just so it's kind of encapsulating that love. And I might just pinch another one from there too to go down there. Ta-da! So apart from your My, you're not far off having your very first design that you've done from scratch. So what I'll show you on the one-to-one is how you can then combine that into 2 layers, but it's a bit easier to see when it's in front of you to that extent on yours.
You're not going to make it to being banned. I'm not going to ban you from.
I mean, the last one tried to burn the place down, so seriously, you can't be that bad. So I'm going to move this over, just so it's a bit more in the middle of my mat. And I'm going to group it for now. And we can go to Save As. I'm going to drop it onto Dropbox, I think. I'm going to start a new folder. Seriously? A new folder. Okay. And I'm going to put Valentine t-shirt.
Up in the world.
Huh?
Up in the world.
What did you think you were?
I think we're the Thatchers. Thatcher's residence.
Nope. And Valentine t-shirt. And when you do a save as, that's saving it as a Corel Draw file, which is great for if you want to go back and edit the design in Corel Draw. But if you need to send that to your cutter, you're going to want to export it to SVG. So to do that, we're going to go to File. We're going to go to Export. There we go. And you can see already it's going to default to SVG for me. And I just need to tell it to go back to the right folder, because that's my Mac trying to be clever, and go to the last place that I exported an SVG to. Useful sometimes if you're doing things to USB stick, but the rest of the time it gets a bit annoying. So with SVG selected and a file name up top, we're going to go to Export. Now I'm going to pause on here for a second, and if you want to take a screenshot for future reference you can do. But the important bit is the SVG 1.1. Okay. The next important bit is that it says down here export text as curves. So that's basically there to catch you. If you've forgotten to do your convert to curves on any text, it's going to do it for you.
Yeah, you got thumbs up from.
And then at the bottom you can save it as a preset. So if you want to add it, you can go scan and cut SVG and go OK. And then you can see in there scan and cut SVG. So the next time that you're going to then export an SVG, you can just go down to the preset and pick that one. And we can go OK. And that's it. It's exported an SVG that you can take into Canvas. So, for starters, give yourself a pat on the back for having got this far and having your first design. With or without the my really makes no difference. You could just as easily get away with a please be my Valentine, love. And we can go to new and we can start a new map. So you'll see that when you have multiple documents open, you're going to get an extra little panel across here. So just because you need to see that a bit clearer, I'm just going to close my last document. But it's not a case that you can only work on one document at once in Corel Draw. You can have many open. So did you get a chance to download the file that I popped up in the group? So I'm going to be working with the inspirational design first. If not, let Ian know and he'll pop up the link again.
No, sorry. Okay.
Okay, that's fine.
Yes, fine. Thanks.
Do you want to just
Which one do you want to do?
the inspirational? Yeah, that's the top one.
Top one.
Yeah. I'm just gonna have to pop somewhere in. Can you just do importing for me?
Put this into. Get
Okay. So while Ian's getting the link and you're downloading that, I'm just going to tell you what, I'll switch off the mic while we're... Go. Hopefully I've got sound back.
Looks like you have things lit up with your phones.
Yeah.
Maybe Steph just let me know when she's done.
Ooh. I think I could do a glass of water.
Got some juice. Got cranberry or... We've got some cranberry in the fridge too. Oh.
Okay, Claire, just let me know when you're back and downloaded. Don't have to have imported it yet. I'm going to show you how to do that bit. Hmm?
I have to sign into Humble Bundle on yours. Because for some reason it's not copied across the details onto the phone.
Hmm.
So if I can't get the Corel Draw. Bet they didn't like it. Okay.
If you need help, Claire, just say. Ian's here to... He's doing Superman poses now, that's no good.
Could be worse. Could be tapping.
That could be twerking.
Boost. My channel's still Paint Shop Pro at the moment. I can get that to work. I think it's Paint Shop anyway. Wait, it's on something. Corel Painter, sorry, Paint Shop Pro.
I was going to say, I think you just insulted it.
Well, access to Paint Shop Pro as well, you know that, don't you?
Yeah.
You got it on yours, haven't you?
Mm-hmm. I think my poor Mac's running nearly every design program known to man. And often at the same time. Okay. So, is Claire okay or does she want you to dial in?
I've got it in my cart, but it's not showing as free.
Okay, there's something not right
Should
there.
do.
Do you want to just take a look for her and see if you can sort it? Because it should just be download and plop into downloads. Shouldn't even need to go through basket.
Hang on a sec, Claire, and I'll pop another link in.
Because if I go here, it should look like that.
Let's have a
And
look.
then it's just a case of you just press the big green button.
What's the file called?
If you go into freebies, it's right on the first page.
Okay. The old one.
So it was just there.
Where's my freebies?
Free designs at the top, second button along.
Yeah, right, okay.
Then scroll down on the right hand side. Oh, you got two columns, okay. It's next to the Easter Day pattern, so just after. Keep going, keep going, keep going, there.
Wait, back up that one.
Yeah, that one.
I'm interested in that.
I'm going to end up downloading something else while I'm here because I'm looking at that and I think, why do you quite like the spring bunny? I'm terrible, aren't I?
Okay,
Oh,
we have it
that's
in
a
our-
nice file.
in-
That'd make a nice foreground design, that one.
Okay, so we have that in our downloads folder.
Okay.
Yep.
So, does it need unzipping is my
I've done
first.
that.
You've done that? Hey!
One step ahead of you, I've already unzipped it for her, it's ready to go.
So, when you download on a PC, you need to unzip it before you use it. So that's the same whether you're using Corel Draw, Canvas, it's your brand of software here. Whereas on a Mac it just does it for you, because it's good like that. Nick knows what I'm like, I won't remember. So if we go to File and Place in Corel Draw, and I'm going to go to my Downloads folder and to the Inspirational folder, and then you want the SVG. Then we can go to Place, and it's going to come in with a little arrow. So if you read what it says, you can click and drag to resize it to a size of your choice. You can press enter and it will just put it centered on page, or you can use a space bar to do it original size and original position. So if I just hit enter, it's going to just pop it straight in the middle of the mat.
So we'll import.
So it might say import rather than place, but it should just be just above the export button.
Yes.
Okay. So I can go into my layer panel, and you can see at the moment it's in a group all of its own, which has 39 objects in. So we can actually break that group apart so that we can get in and colour individual items. So if we go ungroup all and ungroup all again. So now we can get access to each individual shape. So just let me know when you've got it all ungrouped.
Give me a moment.
That's okay. No rush. You can also use the ungroup button that's at the top of the screen.
Don't complicate things.
They do exactly the same thing.
It should be in your downloads folder, Claire. Got it. Okay, she found it.
Okay. So then you just want to ungroup it. And it should look in your objects panel a bit like this. So you've got some letters up towards the top, and then everything else is kind of curves. How Claire doing?
Object then ungroup. Yep, that's right. Yep.
Yeah. And that's so that you can get to individual pieces of your design. So I'm looking at it and I'm thinking about how we can use colour in the design, so it's not just boring black and white, because that would be far too easy. So I'm thinking that the In Dream would be nice in one colour, the Invest in another colour, and the You're in another colour.
It is showing like yours.
Okay.
How's it come in?
Do you want to just take a little look for me?
That's okay.
Yep, that's okay. It's just that when you have the curves in yours, it's not showing a preview of the actual layer. So if him clicks on the top curve, is it going to select it or is it going to be slow? It's a little bit slow, isn't it? Yeah, you can see it's the end. So they're all in the same order, just you can't see the preview. So what I will do is I will try and count you down through the different bits. And it's going to be a little bit more difficult for you to see.
You have to count them each time you do it.
Yeah, so what I'll do is, as I'm doing each bit, I'm going to group it so that you don't get having to count from that first one each time, so it's a little bit easier.
Okay.
Okay, so from the top to, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 curves you're going to select. Then you're going to press Control and G.
Yep, got a thumbs up.
We can right click on that group and we can rename. So I'm going to call that, oh, come on, that'd be nice. Keep having random pop-ups that are trying to appear but they don't appear, it's not good. So, In Dream. And if we change the colour, we can see there's our group in blue. So then we're going to go to the next curve. So that's the one right underneath our group. And we're going to go press and hold shift And we can go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. And you never knew there were so many there. Okay, and we're going to group those two. So let me know when you've got that second group, because there's a lot to click in that one. So you can see you've got 26 objects. So far so good. So let's right click and we'll rename that one. And we'll call it Raise. And we can colour it yellow. Now, I know there's not 26 lines there. That to me says that there's something a bit weird with that layer, but we can come back and we can check that. I suppose there might just be, but we'll see. We'll check it. So now you should have two groups in Dream and Raise. So next, it looks like it's going to be the Invest. So we'll work on that one next. So 3, 4, it's going to be really tricky. And that looks like it goes to the Y. Okay, so this is going to be one of those ones where it's actually easier to work on the mat. So I'm going to click first on my INV. I'm going to press and hold Shift, and I'm going to click on my ES. Keep that Shift pressed and click on the T, and then I'm going to click on this little swirly bit at the end, and I'm going to group that. So now we have another group, and we can right click, rename, and we'll call this one Invest. And we can turn that yellow. So these don't have to be your final colours, but it's just so that you can refer to them nice and easily in your groups. I can definitely see that you'll be wanting to upgrade to 2020 though, so that you can see the previews a little easier.
Got some.
Okay, so now we can really easily do our last two curves. So nice and simple. Group again, right click, rename, and we can type your, and we can change the colour of that too.
It's very bold.
It is, isn't it? So hopefully you have something that looks like that. So if you're just creating this out of vinyl, for instance, then that might be as colourful as you want to get. If you want to print it out, however, you might want to do some funky effects to it. So we haven't really got into doing fills and things, have we yet? So
do you like saying yours shows the colour?
it's a lot easier, isn't it? Because you can see in a glance of, oh, blue layer, blue. Nice and easy. So I'm going to work on my invest to begin with. Just going to move my keyboard over very slightly. Don't know why I'm using my mouse when I've got my stylus there. Let me swap my glove on. So a stylus isn't 100% necessary for when you're doing vector work, but on occasion it does help. So I'm going to go to, not that, I'm going to go to my fill bucket and I'm going to go to interactive. So we can see at the moment that our group has a solid fill and that it's coloured yellow. So that's already telling you what you've got. If we click this next one, you can see that it's going to put gradients in. And because we're working on a group with more than one shape, you can see it's also brought in more than one gradient. So don't look at this and think, oh my god, that's mad. It's not. It's just that it's applying the same effect to 4 different shapes. So it's showing that you can actually interact with each gradient individually. So if we go to this outside colour here, we can actually change what colour that is just by going to our little drop down. We can use swatches to colour it, and as I'm doing gold, it's pretty easy to go to the Pantone swatch book and pick up a nice olivey colour. So that's going to give us the kind of impression of having gold by putting in a gradient. Okay, so just let me know when you've got the 2 colours in. And then I can show you the next funky bit that we can do.
Keep the payments going once it gets out of it.
What? Because of how much I'm playing with it.
It gives you a lot of what it actually gives you for the.
Okay. So hopefully you've got something where you've got a yellow and it's going to that olivey, yellowy colour. In the middle, we have a little slider that we can pull. That's going to change where the midpoint on our shading is. So if you have something that's looking a little light, we can pull it back towards that yellow and we're going to bring in more of the olivey green colour. Likewise, if you've got something that's looking a little dark, you can pull it the other way and it's going to get lighter. So it's a really funky way of playing. If we hover over our arrow, you can see that it's going to turn to a little position and we can actually drag our gradient like so. And likewise, we can also angle it so that we change where that angle will go to. It's a very funky piece of kit, really. So if you think, oh, I just need to bring a bit more highlight here, you can just tweak it and just twist it. So have a little play with that so you can see how those are working. And then along the top in these 4 here, which hopefully you've got something that looks kind of similar. It may look slightly different. It may just look like a flat gradient rather than having the grid sitting underneath it. So we've got just a linear gradient here. We can also do a elliptical gradient, so this is where it would think about the shading on a bauble, for instance. So it's going to go round in circles instead. You can have it so that it spins in a cone. And finally you have that it does it in concentric rectangles. So again, that can be another way that you just want to play with your gradient. And each one of these is entirely independent, so even though they're grouped and you're working in a group, you can still go and actually change how it's working for that particular shape. So don't think, oh, I've got to have them all go the same way. No, you can have them all slightly different. So hopefully that looks like it's a bit more blinged up. Okay, I'm going to go on to the yaw next. And we can go back to our same fill tool. So we're still with our group selected, and you can see it's gone back to solid colour, pink, because we've got pink in our layer. And this time we can go across. The trouble is you start to see all the extras and go, ooh, that's quite nice. So the gradient that I showed you in the invest should be in your package. Some of the bits that I show you as we move further up, again, maybe that you've got something similar but not exactly the same. So if you can't find the gradient, let Ian know and Ian will dial it in and just show you where to find those. I'll hold on for a minute just so that we can make sure that you've got the hang of the gradients. But gradients are a really easy way to add some colour and shading to your designs when you're working with print.
Fountain fill, I think it's called.
There you go. So try that fountain fill.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So this next one that I'm on looks a bit like a mesh, but it's actually a vector pattern fill. So it's one of those ones where you can actually pull in different things. So if we go to a starter pack, you can see that currently at the moment I have the first one of those selected, but we can change it to stripes so it can look like a crime scene. We've got lots of dots so we can make it look like Smarties. And we've got barbed wire, because you know that's just what you need. And we've got a really funky kind of shell 70s wallpaper. And that's all just in the starter pack. Now with the 2020 version, they've kind of done a marketplace for it. So you can actually buy new things to add into it in terms of the fills and stuff. I did try to see if I could add in ones from elsewhere, and it didn't seem to like it very much, which is a bit sad. So I will keep playing with that one and see if we can show you how to do that for yours, because I know that you probably haven't got access to the same marketplace. So let's go for not necessarily that one. I quite like the blue actually, because it pulled the blue out of the dream. So you can see again, because there's two shapes in our group, we have two instances of our fill. So what that means is we can actually scale, so we can pull it back in if we want a bit more detail. And all these tile as well, so that when we're putting them in, you can actually have it so it's seamless, so you're not going to see like little lines where the pattern repeats. And as you can see, you can also skew it, rotate it in the same way as if it's a shape, because it's a vector fill rather than just being a photo pattern as such. So hopefully you've managed to get some sort of pattern fill. The next one along is textures. So this is more bitmap, so photo based, as I was saying before. So you've got some kind of natural textures in there in your starter pack. You've got any custom ones that you've created, favourites, and then again you can add some more. I haven't downloaded anywhere near enough of this yet. I still like the blue. So, next one is to do a 2-colour fill. So, we've got a choice of colours. So you can change it to blue, and we can go to, let's say, a lighter blue. So that you've got a bit of texture to it. And you can have access to different patterns usually. The next one along does your like textures, so if you're thinking like kind of weird and wacky. But some of them are okay that you might want to include. So that one's quite subtle. And then you might want to tweak the colour of your in-dream just to match that, so it's not quite so vivid. Maybe a little bit more kind of muted. There we go. So I did say I was going to check my rays. So if I just get to drop down, I just want to double check there's nothing weird going on. Yep, those all look okay. That's good. So we can do the same with the rays in terms of adding that interactive fill, or if you have the mesh fill option, then you can actually add spots of colour. So let's just go back to our interactive fill, because it's deselected the group. Come on, I want the group, thank you. And we're going to put those in. Going to click on our white again and go back to our olivey colour. There we go. Come on, be nice. And I'm going to go to that one. TD. Oh, it's going to be annoying now. Come on. It's because it's tried to drag them all over here. Come on. It's shoved them all over to the left and been really annoying. So I'm just going to set them all back to yellow. Because sometimes you just need to reset and start again. Come on. No, it's gonna be. I'm not on that one. Don't do that one. Okay. So then when you're done, we can do a file, save as, and this time let's call it invest print. So because we've put that gradient fill in and the texture fill, this isn't something that you're going to want to necessarily send to your scan and cut. So you can just save it as a Corel Draw file.
Yeah, what are you on over there?
Oh yeah.
Done.
Okay. So I'm going to close that one. Not the whole program, thank you.
Well, that's it.
Okay. It closed the whole thing rather than just closing the tab because it obviously crashed.
And so this hooray, I kept up.
I'll call it back up just in case.
Does that keep crashing on you?
It does. It does, it does. Let's start a new map. So rather than try and do a full card design, I think what would be nice to do is a nice little tag. Because you could always put a tag on the front of a card. But it's a really good way of practicing doing things like merging and subtracting, because you have to punch a hole in it. So let's start off with...
You do mouse again?
Yeah, well, I was trying to not let it crash because it was doing weird things because it was picking up my hand.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Even with my glove on. So I might turn my touch off. There we go. Just so that I can do this a bit easier. So I'm going to start off with a square.
Can you help with flip fonts?
Flip fonts?
Flipping fonts, I think.
Oh, flipping text for HTV. Or do you mean literally flipping fonts?
Hey, wait for further instructions.
But yes, I can show you how to import a font and then how you then take that into Corel. Bear in mind that each time you install something, if you then want to use it in a program that's already open, you need to close it and reopen it for it to be able to be seen in most cases. But I don't mind because I can quit out of this for a second.
Send a message later explaining.
I'll show it anyway. It's a good one to learn. So I'm just going to hop across to the font bundle. So, fontbundles.net, and I'll pick a freebie. I'm quite liking the look, not looking the like, of Floristy. So I'm going to download it, and it's going to go into my downloads. Now you're probably going to need to unzip it before this step, so if you need in to just quickly show you how to do that on yours, because I know everything's in a different place on the PC. So then what you want to do is choose between your TTF and OTF fonts. Now if you're going to do all your work in Corel Draw, you can just choose OTF, perfectly fine. If you're going to want to use text in Canvas, Canvas is old school and prefers TTF. Or just leave it as Canvas is old school.
Basically I had an oval that I wanted text, early rows, dippy eggs, and when I put it in, read back to front, if you understand. So like fit to pass, but she wants it so it
flips.
reads the same way. So it's over an oval, so it reads top and bottom, and it reads the right way.
Ah, right, yes.
So like a split.
Flipping text, yes. I can see what you mean now.
Yeah. So flipping text.
I'm going to install that one in a bit because I quite like the look of that one.
Okay.
It's got a cool little extra with it that does like flowers and stuff, so it'd be good for...
What was that just popped up with the...
Oh, it was trying to sell me something. It was just what it's good for.
Okay.
It's always trying to sell me bits. Not very good to when, you know. I'm like, ooh, what's that? Okay, so flipping text. Let's start off by drawing a shape. And hopefully now that I've turned off touch, it should behave. So I'm just going to draw a shape. And don't worry that I'm doing all these things big, because you can always work smaller after the event. I'm going to press H just so I can bring that oval down so it's in the middle of my screen. Okay, now I'm going to go to my text tool, and if you hover over an edge you're going to get that little wiggly line. Okay, so what shall I go for? Being a kind of oval, let's go for Happy Easter, and we can do Hoppy Easter, and then another bullet point and a space. And if I go Control A to select all, Control C to copy, hit the right arrow key, and that takes me back to the end of my line, and I can paste it around. Okay, so I may not quite get another one in, so I'm just going to delete out, so I'm going to get it as close as possible. So what you're asking is for that bottom line, let's just take out one more Happy Easter. Now we'll try and do an up and over. So what you mean is you want that bottom line to read up the right way rather than being upside down, presumably.
Yeah, so it's the right way.
So your options are to either have it as it is now, or we can duplicate it and flip one and kind of put that underneath and the other one over the top. So I'm definitely going to switch back to my mouse for a second just because I want to make sure I'm clicking accurately. So I'm going to go to my ellipse, have my arrow tool selected, and I want to duplicate that. So I'm going to go to Edit and Duplicate. Okay.
Okay, that's what we had. Squeaky.
Okay.
She wants it up the right way, I assume.
So I'm going to take out my... Let's make that naught. Go from there. There we go. So there's my Hoppy Easter. Happy Easter, Hoppy Easter. Just take out that space. So that should be pretty much centre. I'm just going to delete that one because that's annoying. I'm going to take those two and go edit, duplicate. Okay. Now this is a good opportunity to learn your lock. So we're going to lock those two original layers. As long as it behaves. I can't see if it's locked or not. For whatever reason it's not letting me lock them. Okay, whatever.
Is it because of the padlock at the top? Very good.
No, that's print and export. So I'm just going to group those two so it keeps as a group for me. So with my duplicate I'm going to click on it again, so it's going to rotate. Come on. Don't be annoying. Right. Now I want my oval to overlap. So I'm ignoring what my text is doing at the moment. Then I can click on there and you can see that our controllers have come back here. So now as I push that up, it's going to move back round. Oh, not quite that far. Let's go 10. 9. Any advance on 8? There we go. So remember how I was saying earlier about the shape to the baseline? If you find that your text is upside down the wrong way, you can use the flippy one. Now you may find on this one it's going to go a bit weird, but it's doing the right thing, it's just not necessarily. There you go. So you can use these two to flip them either inside or outside. Okay. So at the moment, if we were to export those, they're not going to look like they're on the same oval, because the text on this top will go around the outside of the text on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drop down that text on that baseline. So as you do that, you may find that it's just warping slightly off. So we can just tweak that back that way so that it lines up properly. So remember, your oval you're going to be getting rid of anyway, so you just want to concentrate on the text itself. And I'm going to do the same to this ellipse as well. So with that artistic text selected, you've got your controls up here for your text on the path. We're going to drop down that text so that it's going to sit with that, with the top of the A and the S. So if we then judge it by the bullet points, you want those bullet points to be more or less in line. So you may just have to just fiddle with it a little bit just to get it just right, and I think I'm going to go there. So then it looks like your bullet points are all equal. So if you do it by those, you know that you should be pretty right. And again, I'm just eyeballing space from there to there and there to there to know whether that's centered. Then we can convert all of that to curves. And we can hide the ovals, and there's our text. So Ian's being awfully quiet, so if you're struggling with that bit and want me to go over that again, it is quite involved because you're working with 2 copies. So you're trying to get one to match the other.
No, I've got an okay, thanks.
And it's the same way that you work with text on a curving canvas. If you want to do that way, you've got it going up over the top and then the right way up down the bottom. You do it exactly the same way in canvas with 2 circles or 2 ovals, so that you have them following those paths. Okay, so given that we've started kind of doing a little Easter one, I'm going to draw in an ellipse in the middle. Okay, I'm going to go to Object, Convert to Curves. I'm going to go to my node tool, so F10, and I'm going to draw around those 2 centre nodes. So just click and drag so that you're lassoing around those 2 centre nodes. You're then going to press and hold Shift and tap the down key. So you're going to do it a few times, and you'll notice as you do, those points are moving down, and you're going to get a bit more of an egg shape. Okay. And you can edit them directly if you want. If you're thinking my egg's looking a little bit thin, you can make it a bit more rounded. And let's pop a nice egg-like colour in. There we go. And I'll set that to the outline colour too. How are we doing? Have we got a kind of egg shape?
So I'm just watching, you know, I was concentrating on watching before rather than doing.
That's okay.
So she's watching and...
That's okay. You can always go back, watch, try, pause, and then if you do get really stuck, you can always ask us for help. And we can always hop back on into the group at any point and just do another video for you. So we have an egg. And of course eggs need decorating.
Chocolate.
So I'm thinking, what do we do to our egg? Should we make it look a bit speckledy to start with?
Not enough speckled egg.
Yeah. Go artistic, and let's go. Bit of a random speckle. Let's try that. So let's get my glove back on, because it's easier to draw with the graphics tablet. But sometimes clicking is a little bit... Okay, a little less speckledy than that. A bit softer. Let's try that one. Oh no, 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 no. So there's loads of artistic tools that we can play with. I just want something that I can just do like a little light speckle with. try and splat it. That looks promising.
Splatter is everywhere.
Yeah, and let's reduce the size of my brush. My brush is too big. There we go. So I can always change my spatters to a different colour. And what I can always do is go back to the node on my path, because it's all created with paths, and I can actually change where my speckles go. So if ever you're not happy with vector brushes, you've always got that option of actually fixing it, sorting it out. And it works exactly the same way as if it was any other path. So we can actually then go, well actually I'm just going to move that over there, and we can drag out this handle so it's a bit more of a curve. And we can drag this bit over here. And we can have a speckled egg.
Not supposed to be a lighter shade of blue.
What's wrong with being speckled colour?
Yeah,
Well, shall I? Or we can make it darker.
Sorry, teasing.
There you go. We'll have chocolate mini eggs instead. So there's one egg, and let's do another one. So I'm going to
like symbols.
Yeah. So I'm going to do a control duplicate, and I'm going to rotate it, and I want to put it to the back, so behind our previous egg, and I'm going to change its colour to pink. There we go. But yes, you can do symbols, and it's no good to keep trying to do the wrong key presses.
I think it hadn't copied across the pattern either, did it? It didn't. When you duplicated it, then you
No, I literally just dragged the egg rather than the
okay.
speckles. Because I want to see if I can do a little bit of a zigzag pattern. So I'm going to cheat and see if it will do it itself. So if I go to my pen tool, I'm going to guess roughly where my egg ends, and I'm going to go round here like this, and it's going to go to that edge, and I've double clicked by accident there, so I want to go from that end, and it's going to track around the edge of this egg, and as it comes to the front it's going to get bigger, and we can just join that up there. So I'm just going to move this bottom notch down a bit, okay, so that my egg can look like it's wrapping around a 3D object. And let's give it a colour of blue. And we can drop it down behind our egg. So I'm also going to set the outline colour to blue as well, so we can get rid of that black line. Let's go for ripple. And we can see that we've made our little band ripple. So how cool is that? And we can change our frequency of our ripple, our amplitude, so the bigger we go, the bigger our ripple is going to be. If we want to make it a little ripple, we can do a little ripple. We can optimise it for speed or quality. We'll go for quality. Okay. And we can even distort our ripple, so we've got a bit of a jagged mountain going on. So if we go OK. Now remember how I was saying about making sure that things are nodes and not just appearances? So if I go to my node tool at the moment, you can see that it's actually going to still be a path. So although it's given that appearance, we're making sure that we want to actually convert that to a curve. Now if it's not giving you that option, then we can go convert that shape to a bitmap. And we'll go OK. So at that point it becomes an image. Now we can actually do a trace. So if we do quick trace, that's just going to quickly go over the top because it's nice and simple, and it's going to go, right, okay, that's what the image was showing me before. You can see we've still got a copy of that bitmap hiding down here.
It's a caterpillar.
It's a caterpillar. So we can get rid of the bitmap when it feels like it. I'm going to grab that curve and bring that down there, and then we can still do all our editing as we would normally do. So if I zoom in, you can see we've got a bit of a flat bottom edge going on here. So let's use that hand tool, so that's H, to bring our image across, A to go back to our nodes, and we can see there's something a bit weird going on here, but that's okay, because I'm just going to turn that one into a curve, and we can actually edit that and make sure that that one's a curve too, and we can even add a little point in there, and if it's good it'll let me get in there too. If not, let's see if we can smear it and smudge it and sort it out that way. Lots of different ways that we can use to actually interact with shapes and play with them. So I'm just going to take that line and I just want to smudge that down there so it looks like the same wave as what it's got at the top. And I'm going to do the same here where it's got that flat bottom, and we're going to pull it down, and we can do the same here, and we can even soften that edge there if it's not quite right. So if we take our bitmap and turn it off, it's obsessed. There we go. And you can see where I've softened that edge off so that it has its own little wavy ribbon around it. Okay. So it needs another one on the other side, doesn't it? And what colour should we go for this one? I'm thinking a nice lemon. So if we scroll down on our palette, we can find a nice lemony colour, and we want to drop it back down behind our green egg, and we need to rotate it so it mirrors the other side, like so. So what should I do with this one? Should I just make it dotty? So actually give it a dotty fill.
Yeah.
Nice and easy. So we're going to go to interactive fill, to colour, and let's make that second colour let's go a bit more peachy. There we go.
Okay, so that looks cool.
So there you go. The only thing that you can't do at the moment is change that font if you wanted to. But if I then go to File, Save As, and Happy Easter, Happy Easter, I can save that. And then Ian can always upload those to the group for you to have a little play with.
I'll put all those up later. So they're in the group ready.
Is there anything else that you would like me to show you?
One day I'll get there, thank you.
It's just practice. It's the only difference, isn't it? It's just practice.
Yeah. And people forget you've been using these softwares for 20 odd years, so
Yeah, thanks for making me feel old.
No, but people who've had it new and
Yeah,
are trying to use it for the first time, and then there's
I've been doing it for 20 years,
Yeah,
yes.
you-
It's as natural to me as breathing.
yeah,
Because I've been doing it for...
a long time.
Yeah.
It's like if anybody says to me about dance, you make it look easy. Well, of course I've been doing it for 35 years,
35?
I'll
Try again.
Yeah, 38, yeah.
Wishful thinking there.
There's not the moment I think I just need to learn.
Okay, so what I'll do very quickly is if I close that tab, and it's doesn't like me doing that closed, does it? So, nice new document. This is a nice easy one to finish with, so that you can create along with me. Really, really easy, honest. So, it's going to be based mostly on rectangles. So, I'm going to start off with a rectangle. And up in the top here, you can see that we can see the size of it. So I'm just going to change it so it's a little bit smaller. This little lock here means that it will actually do both at the same time. I just want to work on one side. So I have a 6x4 rectangle. And I've just relocked it so that I don't accidentally change anything else. Okay, I'm going to round off my corners a little bit, so I can do that on the next section. I'm going to give it a colour of, not that it really matters, but what should we go for in? Shall we go purple?
Yeah,
We haven't done a lot in the
I've only
purple.
had the machine a few months and still learning canvas.
Yeah.
We can help you with canvas as well.
Yes. So with a lot of the basic techniques, they'll transfer across all of them. So if you practice it in one and then go to another one, the only real difference between how they're working behind the scenes are shortcuts, basically. but the actual theory works the same regardless. So the more that you can practice with any software, the better you'll become at all of them, if that makes sense.
Classic, you really want to, lol. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm all about helping people.
Yep. We're passionate about this machine, aren't we?
Yeah.
Well, all the machines, to be fair.
Machines, and getting people to use them and enjoying them, rather
Because
than being afraid of them.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than seeing a machine sat in a box, or worse still, when you come to use it, you find that it doesn't work anymore, and it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking when, you know, we had a lady that bought her brand new Scan and Cut 2 class, never had it out of a box. It had it for 2 years, and it had a faulty part in it. And that's heartbreaking because it's not even under guarantee anymore, and never even got it out to check it.
Claire says I'll send some alcohol. Can you just do the corners again, please?
Okay, so the corners, up in the top bar, you can see that you've got this little diagram here that says round corner, or you can have it so it jumps out the corner, or it just snips off the corner. But I'm going to go for round. Then in the next section, you've got how much of that do you want it to do. So we can make it go bigger, or we can make it go smaller.
I have it on mine now.
Yay.
That's what we do.
And then I just coloured it purple, because it's Ian's favourite.
There's a difference in colour on mine to yours, definitely.
That's why I don't do colour accurate work on my monitor.
Yeah, got a thumbs up on that one.
Okay, so I'm going to click off that for a second, and I'm going to create another rectangle. And temporarily I'm going to fill it in white.
It's a letterbox.
It's really going to look like a letterbox in a minute. Okay, so I've just moved that so it's centered. And yeah, I'm happy with it there. I'm going to press and hold.
You lost your train of thought there, didn't you?
Huh?
You lost your train of thought there, didn't you?
Well, I was thinking it's not quite the same proportions as what I had in mind, but it's okay. I'll work with it. So I'm going to press and hold Control and drag down, which is going to do a copy. And you can see it's going to drop in Smart Guides to show me that it's directly underneath. And I'm going to go there.
Just on the screen. Not as much red delay today, it's normal.
That's good, surely, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do this one at a time so it doesn't mess up. So I want back minus front and let it knock out that box.
Left up, right up.
So do it with the next rectangle. So I've got my rectangle selected. Shift, click, and you've got your rectangle at the back selected, and apply. So now if you click off and click back on, you should be able to see that you've got little nodes that are in the middle of your rectangle. If you hold it over the edge,
This is where I'm lost with the
Is you?
control.
okay, so Control, press and hold, then click, drag, release the mouse button, and now it's going to be,
It's commanding.
yeah, I'll do that again. Press and hold Control on my command, click down with your mouse and drag, so you still got your mouse pressed.
The CTRL button if you're looking for, there isn't one that says control.
Okay, you're going to release your mouse button, then release the keyboard button.
It's going to be weird on mine because I have control thing.
Yeah, you're just going to get confused. So that's the way to think of it. Press the whole.
Duplicate. Does that work?
Yep, you can go to edit and yeah, it's edit. And duplicate when you've got something selected, or you can do Control and D in all likelihood on a PC, because it's Command and D on mine, and that just puts in another copy.
I wanted to try my F keys, didn't I?
Okay. So then you're going to subtract your little rectangles from your big rectangle using shape and back minus front, and do it one at a time.
A duplicate worked better for us. So.
Okay, that's fine. So just do it so that you just do one rectangle and the big rectangle and apply, then the other rectangle and the big rectangle and apply. And hopefully then you've got some holes. I'm going to go to my text tool and I'm just going to click on my mat. I'm going to press caps lock because I want it all capitals. And I'm going to go get well soon and highlight the text. And I'm going to go for the heaviest font that I can find. So I'm going to go for Adlib. And I'm going to bring that across to my rectangle, and I can see it's going to need to be a little bit bigger. So I'm going to stretch so it's overlapping. It's the overlapping bit that's important. So I'm just going to nudge it up slightly, just so I can bring it down. There we go. So basically, so your text is just overlapping the top and the bottom. Didn't sleep very well last night.
No.
No, weird dreams. Okay, so with our text, what we want to do next is we want to convert it to curves. So if you're finding key presses easier, try, it looks like it could be Control and Q, because that's not an Alt symbol. But if you press and hold over the convert to curves, it tells you the shortcut on the right hand side just here. Okay, so we're going to convert that to curves. So that's going to turn it all into nodes.
CTRL, yes.
Yeah.
Rather than Carl. Yeah. It's obviously auto-corrected.
Okay, so I'm going to duplicate that. So I'm going to use the same Control and D that you're finding works for you. And drop in a copy. You have dark mode. I don't have dark mode. So then I'm going to click and drag over the top so everything's selected. Then I can go to shaping and I can go to Weld 2 itself, and it's all going to go purple. Now what I would say with the G, and you can just about see if I zoom in, that you've got this tiny little triangle in here. Now you could use your vinyl blade and see if it would be happy to cut that little bit of detail, but if you don't think it needs it, then you can just take it out. So I'm just going to go with my node tool and I can just draw around them. They're going to turn blue and I can hit backspace or delete, whichever term you're more comfortable with. And we can do the same with the other G. So back to my node tool, draw a circle around, let go, let blue, delete. Really easy way of getting rid of all the fiddly bits as well if you've got a design that's being particularly annoying and not cutting correctly. You can take bits out. Okay, so into the middle we could put some hearts, or we could do a bunch of flowers or something like that. So let's have a think. I think I'm going to show you let's put another rectangle in here. Okay, and we're going to do that same subtraction. So we have a window. Then what should we go for? It would be nice to put in a couple of hearts, I think, and maybe some swirls. So let's draw some hearts using the basic shape tool. And I'm going to draw them over to one side, and let's give it a friend. I'm going to resize it slightly so it's a little bit smaller, and I'm going to put it in a different pink. Okay. So I'm going to keep these two out here as a duplicate so that I can cut those out of something else if I want to. So if I select both of them and press Ctrl and D, I can have duplicate to work with. So let's rotate this one around here, and this one can rotate this way, and that can go and drop down just there. So at the moment we're not touching the outside edge of our frame, and we need it to touch the outside of that frame so that we can weld it and have a solid base. So what we need to do is we need to build a bridge. So I'm going to go to my pen tool, and let's do a little bit of a swoosh. Technical term. Okay. So there's one swoosh. So I'm not too bothered about getting my path right at this point. So if we go to artistic media in our Docker, we can actually alter our flow of our stroke. So let's pick one that we think is going to work nice. Okay. So at this point we're thinking, well, that's way too thick. We can actually take that right down so that it fits a bit better. And where it goes really thin in here, it might be that we put another bit of a stroke to pad that out so it has something to connect to. Let's go for that one, I think, out of all of them. So we can go back to our pen tool, and this time we might go, well, actually we want it to come round this way, and it can flick up here, and it can come round here and back again. Hit enter, and if we go back to our node tool, again we can do that same effect. We can apply the same brush, and one more for good measure. So this time let's go, I definitely want it to go through that point there, so if I click on it then I can loop it around there. I definitely want it to go through that point, so I can go, well, actually it needs to click onto that node, and we can loop it back around this way and back out like so. And again we hit enter, and we can use that same brush, and we can just tweak it slightly so that we can get it where we need it to go. Okay, so I'm going to drag that out that way. And let's just bring that curve back in there a little bit. And this is one of those ones where you might want an asymmetrical handle just to help get this flow of this curve right. like so. Huh?
Say thank you to Claire.
Why?
In case you brought us some coffee.
Oh, coffee. You can change it to different things, can't you? To buy me a coffee.
Beer and pizza.
Yeah, it can be beer, pizza. They don't do one that says craft stuff, which would probably be more appropriate.
I'd say thank you. She brought us 5.
Thank you, you didn't have to. So now that I've got my swooshes, at the moment the path still goes through the middle of them. So I'm going to go back to my objects and I'm going to select all 3 of my swooshes. It's a technical term, that. And
Swoosh and swoosh.
swoosh, swoosh, swoosh. Let's go to convert to curves.
I really appreciate all the help. Alright, that's what we do.
That's what we do. That's what we're here for. Isn't it sweet?
Yep.
And I'm just going to convert that to curves again because I want to make sure that it is converted, because I want to weld it. And it's not going to be good. See, look, I knew something was wrong.
What you done wrong?
It's not wanting to convert that outside curve. So again, I can go convert to bitmap. Okay. I go into my layers, you can see it's changed it to an image. What would we do without quick trace? And it's going to go all the way around the outside and misbehave. So if it does that, then you know that your quick trace just needs a little bit of extra help. We can delete it, go back to our bitmap, and we have other options, and I just want to go to an outline trace. Let's go logo and see if it can cope with that one. It's going to think about it. There we go. Yep, I want it to go around the outside. Okay. So we have these silly little bits in here. Don't worry, we can just delete those out. And we can delete the original bitmap now. And we can even ungroup because it's just one object. So don't worry, I'm not expecting you to get all of this straight away. That'd be kind of cruel of me. But what I am going to do is just try and strengthen these little bits in here. So I'm just going to smooth this off in here. And if we do a smudge, let's bring that brush size back down. I just want to bring that bit in there. That bit there. Come on. Yeah, no, you want to really. If it's clever enough to pick up on the angle move brush.
You set it up.
Not yet. I can't quite do it. Okay. Nude. Nude, nude, nude. I've got one naughty little node here, you see.
Oh.
And sometimes it's just easier to just
Take it in.
take it out. If in doubt, take it out.
Something about this.
So,
Huh?
huh?
Hang about. Purposely. If in doubt, hang about.
Yeah,
Think about it.
yeah. Do I really want to do that? Do I? And I'm just going to lift that up there so it's not quite so close. So a lot of the issues that the scan and cut has actually don't need to be a scan and cut issue at all. Okay, I'm going to zoom back out, and now I'm going to duplicate.
Make sure they know in the car.
And was the car okay?
Oh, it's fine. It's starting to snow though.
Again!
Yeah. It's not quite as heavy as it was yesterday though.
So I'm going to put another swoosh over here. So that way it's going to hold on to that heart too. And you can put another one underneath if you want to. I think that should be enough, shouldn't it, Ian?
Mm-hmm.
By the time it's all welded.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to zoom out. Over the top. Weld 2, the purple, because I want the purple to go through to the next bit. And there we go. So now we have our 2 hearts that are going to cut out of something else. And we have our card background, and this is going to crash. I know it is, because it's playing up. Come on. Some bits of it are working, but not all of it. So while bits of it are working, I'm just going to quickly do a save as, so you can have that one to play with. Thank you. I get there eventually. There we go.
So I'm asking somebody else a question, they're asking me silly questions. Put a reading box around text, is that correct? To know what you're cutting it out of.
Is that one of those you needed context? Yeah, and the later than at night it is, the more we need the context.
Yeah.
So spacebar tends to take you between your 2 most recent tools, so that could be handy for swapping between them.
Look.
But the only problem is, in everything else, the spacebar is also your pan tool. So I'm used to just being able to go space and just zip around the mat. So you have to use H fan tool to do that.
Take it you've forgotten to flip.
Oh, flip. So if you do HTV frequently, you'll soon want to stick a little sticker on your scan and cut that says flip
Flip the text.
Because it's the most common mistake you can make with HTTP is the forgetting to flip. So I keep wanting to put one on mine that says, "Oh flip."
You can decorate it now, it's yours.
I know. Good job, really. It's already been decorated with spray paint. Well, ink sprays, not spray paint. Spray paint sounds like I've been, doing a bit of graffiti in my spare time. Whatever that is. So, we've done the Get Well Soon card. We've done the Valentine t-shirt design. We've done the Inspiration SVG import and play. And we've done a big tour around all of Corel Draw. So
it's a lot to
it's a lot to process. So do it in little chunks, and we will always be around to help. So Pam, when you watch this back, if it seems like it's really disjointed, don't worry. Just do it in little sections, and you'll get there. And we will always be around to help you out as well.
And Claire said that worked apart from I lost the swoosh, but it's a learning curve.
The swoosh. So it was just making sure that you do that trace because it didn't want to convert it to curves because it was being annoying. And it's probably on the verge of a nervous breakdown. It's the longest I've had it working away like this, isn't it, really? So at the moment I'm tending to dip in and out of all 4 of them so that I can write the book. So it's not exactly having to struggle a lot to do different projects. But we're getting around to doing some more digital files that we can put up on Buy Me a Coffee, aren't we? So
yeah,
that's the plan. Is that it for today, or any other questions?
Claire says me too on the breakdown.
Aww. Don't let it get to you. Some days it won't work, no matter how hard you try. And it's just one of those things. Our brains are not meant to function at 100% every day. It's not good.
I've just rescued Sally as well.
Why did she almost do
HTML without flipping the text yet? Lol.
Go flip.
Claire said, I don't think I can take any more today. That's alright. I said, let us know if you want the lesson on Wednesday, and we can arrange a time for you to have that lesson Wednesday.
Yeah.
Probably afternoon's better for us, isn't it?
Yes, because we're doing the live streams in the morning.
We do live streams in the morning, so...
yeah, so you can always see us live at 11 o'clock on a Wednesday.
Yeah, unless the man underneath us is drilling.
Yes. When he started at, 9:15 this morning, I wasn't impressed. Was it?
Yeah.
I was not impressed, was I?
No. It's been great, and I'm sure something is something. But yeah, it will have, it's... And again, it's practice. The more you use it, the easier it gets. So it's just...
Yeah.
Play with it,
The worst thing you could do right now is go, right, okay, I'm walking away from it for today. That's the worst thing you could do. Just give yourself... Go get a drink. Give yourself 15 minutes break. Come back and just have a little play. So even if it's only designed like a little tag like I've just done with the Get Well. So you're just doing something small. You can just go, okay, so that's what well does, that's what subtract does, and I'm happy with that. And if it doesn't work, I know I can just convert it to a bitmap and I can trace it.
Thank you once again, and enjoy the coffee.
Or the pizza.
The pizza.
After lockdown, dear, when we've had our jabs, then you can have a pizza.
It's not us who's going to have the job, it's the person delivering it. Then she says, will do.
So, take care and we'll see you then. Bye!